receive when you pray.
Amen.
Believe.
Yes.
Not after. Believe you receive when you pray. Not after you see a manifestation of it, but believe you receive when you pray.
Yes, that's right.
I don't know how many of you here this morning need victory in your life or need chains broken. But I would be like Paul and Silas, even though I'm in the midst of a jail cell and captured and imprisoned and in bondage by chains. I will lift up the name of Jesus. Amen. He is the one that can break every chain. Amen. Hallelujah. You may be seated this morning. It's great to be back in the house of the Lord today. Thank you. I want you this morning to take your Bibles and turn to the book of Revelation, chapter 3. Chapter 3, and we'll start reading with verse 14. I'm believing for God to do something mighty in this service this morning.
Yes.
In the last couple of weeks, we have started this month as a month of evangelism and also as a month that we have been having prayer here in this auditorium every day. There's been someone in here every day praying for you, and praying for your family, and praying for a mighty move of God, and praying for revival here in this community, and for God to move and to manifest Himself in your life. And I'm expecting them things to happen. Amen. In the book of Revelation, chapter 3, I want to begin reading here and starting with verse 14. A very interesting passage here. And it's something that has been on my mind and on my heart probably all week long, and maybe starting the first of last week. And it's something I've not been able to get away from. And I believe that I'm expecting something to take place, and I'm expecting a breakthrough here at Harvest Christian Center. For God to move in a mighty way. And unto the angel, in this Revelation chapter 3 and verse 14, I want to speak to you this morning on a topic that I've entitled The Illusion of Lukewarmness. The illusion of lukewarmness. And unto the angel or the messenger. It's interesting that the Lord is now bringing a message to the messenger. To the one that is to proclaim, the one that is to speak forth to this unto the church of Laodicea in this day and in this time. I've done some studying over the years. There's a lot of stuff that I don't agree with, but there's some stuff that's very interesting as I begin to read the commentators and some things that have been said about these 7 churches here. And one of them was that even the last church that is made mention here, the church of Laodicea, would probably, and some commentators had made mention that this could possibly be an identification or could be a resemblance of the church that would be here in the last days. I say that it probably and possibly could, but as we read the rest of the churches, I would also say that there's a great possibility that a lot of them churches also could be identified here in the last days. Unto the messenger, unto the angel of the church of Laodicea write these things, saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness. The beginning of creation of God. He says, I know thy works. In other words, God knows what you're doing. It's interesting because absolutely nothing is hid beyond the eyes of God. Sometimes we think that things that are done in dark, we think that things that are done behind the doors of our privacy, of our home, that we can get by with, but yet in reality, absolutely nothing is hid from the eyes of God. He said, I know thy works, I know what you're doing, I know your intention, I know what your heart's desire is, and I know what is taking place. He makes this comment, he says, thou art neither cold nor hot. And he says here to the messenger is saying this, he said, I wish that you was on one side or the other. I want to share this little story with you. Years ago, I was around some preacher friends, and we happened to be just out hanging around. And I think we was having lunch that night, and a preacher friend of mine went up on us, and he made this comment to me. He says, make sure, preacher, you tell him. He said, you can't straddle the fence. He said, tell him the devil owns the fence. Right out of the wild blue, right in the middle of a restaurant, he told me, he said, make sure you tell them, preacher, they can't straddle the fence. He said, tell them the devil owns the fence. I thought about that. Because we have an attitude and sometimes a way that we carry ourselves that we want to live just as far away from God that we possibly can and yet still have one foot in the door. Hello, somebody.
Amen.
He says, I have something against you. He says, thou art neither cold nor hot. He says, so then because thou art lukewarm. Lukewarmness begins to give an illusion unto people. Puts you into a position that you become complacent. He said, because you are this, and I want to use some harsh words this morning, if you will allow me to, that he said, I will spew thee out of my mouth. The word spew there is a Greek word that we come along with that when we're sick sometimes, and some of us have experienced this, that when you have a virus or you eat something that did not settle well with your stomach, it seemed to come up faster than it went down. Hello, somebody. It's a word that we use today that some would use the word regurgitate, or we use it simply as the word vomit. That is the word that is translated here from the Greek text is the word vomit. It's a word that is very harsh and it's very stern, it's very straightforward because he makes the comment here. He says, because you're neither lukewarm nor because you're neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. You would have to give the impression of something making someone sick upon their stomach. Hello, somebody. Am I in the right house this morning?
Amen. Right.
He says, because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing. I know not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. I counsel thee to buy me gold tried in fire, that thou mayest be rich in white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that thy shame of thy nakedness do not appear. And anoint thy eyes with eyesight, that thou mayest see. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. The word repent, we were talking about this last week, is a change of heart, a change of mind, and a change of direction. Notice verse 20 here. We're going to get to this verse here at the very end, because now he says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. And he said, if any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him, and I will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame. And I am set down with my Father in his throne. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying unto the church. Father, I thank you for the opportunity, Lord, to be able to come here and to declare your word today. We come against every power, every principality, every hindering spirit here for the next few minutes, that them spirits be bound up. God, that our ears be open, our hearts be alert and attentive, Lord, to your word as it goes forward. We're praying for transformation to take place in this house. We're praying for revival, things that have been dead to be revived again, and for things that have been lukewarm to be set on fire again. In the mighty name of Jesus, we ask this. Hallelujah. And everybody said amen. Amen. There was an address, there is a problem that is taking place here. Some of you may be like me. There's a couple of things that I do not like. There's a couple of things that I do love. One of the things that I really like in the mornings is I like stopping at Tom Thumb every morning. I'm almost predictable now. It used to be when I lived back in Butler County, I was so predictable that when I got up out of the bed in the morning, my first stop would be my mom and dad's. Mom and dad lived just right across the hill from us, and I could make my way out and I could go by mom and dad's house, and I knew when I got there to mom and dad's house, there was something sitting there on the counter. Some of you call it goat juice. Coffee. And I can always stop by there in the mornings and be able to get me a cup of coffee and get me something to get me started. Now I like to go by Tom Thumb and stop in there in the morning and get me some coffee and put all the little French vanilla stuff in it, you know what I mean? I know I'm not a real coffee drinker, all right, but I love it. One of the things that I do not like, though, is to be able to grab a cup of coffee. I don't know, there may be some people in here, and I refuse to jump on this bandwagon. I refuse to be a part of it. If there ever comes a boycott, I may join it. I I said, son, just keep making. You keep making and I keep drinking. Another thing I would be very disappointed in is to grab my glass of tea and to find out that it's hot or lukewarm. A disappointment to find something, to look for something, to have an expectancy for something to hit the taste buds of your mouth and all of a sudden find out that it's not made out, and it's not what it was made out to be. To be deceived by it, to be lied to. To advertise one thing but yet get another. Some of you have found this when you begin to go into some of the apartment stores and some of the big box stores, and you walk back and you find a tag there that it says you can get it to $19.95, and all of a sudden, boy, you are thrilled with excitement and joy until you get to the cash register and you spend the next 30 minutes arguing with that person because they didn't say it was $19.95, they said it was $49.95. Only to find something or to receive something and to get it with an expectancy, and it was not what you expected. Is anybody in this house with me this morning?
Amen.
Because he makes a comment here that there's a church that has an outward appearance, but something's taking place on the inside, and we don't have people in here that's hot nor cold, they're just lukewarm. Lukewarmness. The characteristic of lukewarmness is this: to be complacent. I said this as years ago as being a pastor, and I still say it today. One of my greatest fears as being a pastor is not some kind of explosion taking place in the church where one gets mad at another. That'll just soothe and go on over. I don't get so upset about them things. The thing that really upsets me and the thing that fears me the most as being a pastor of a church is a congregation coming complacent. It's always been my fear. Complacent, self-satisfied, that we become satisfied as a congregation right where we're at. I made this comment being pastor years ago. I said, if this congregation is satisfied where we're at, I'm not the pastor for this congregation. I come with expectancy and looking for a mighty move of God and looking for people that have an urgency, who are looking for the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ, who says, I refuse to be lukewarm. I refuse to be cold. I'm looking for a congregation full of people who have come to say, I'm sold out. I want to be on fire for the Lord Jesus Christ. Lukewarm, being half-hearted in what you do. I went years ago to a football game. The most disappointing thing that I've ever done. See, I've come from the old school of football. We was raised up in a small town. Football was all we had. This is where the whole town come together on Friday nights. Everybody in town, you walked, when you rode your car down through town, you didn't have to ride far, being in Georgia. Because there wasn't far to go. But you could go down through town and look on the side of the buildings, and there would be signs, Go Panthers, and beat so-and-so, and we're going to stomp so-and-so. You see these signs, and they'd be on storefronts and banners across the interstate, and you would get to the game on Friday nights, boy. I don't know, y'all have never experienced it, but you could hear the drum line coming. The band house was about 500 yards away from the football field, and you could hear the drum line coming way before they ever showed up, and you could hear the band marching and the tuba player, boom, boom. And I'm telling you, you all of a sudden in the stand just wanted to, I couldn't even dance, but I wanted to swag this whole thing. You know what I mean? One of the things that ever happened is I was used to when you got to a ball game, when you left there at night, you couldn't even talk the next day. That's what I had been used to. The most disappointing thing I ever done was showed up, and we went to one of these little, what would I call it that? We went to a little old football game, and we got there in the stands, boy, we had our pom-poms, and nobody cheered. Nobody was excited. I said, what is this? No passion. Please listen to me. No zeal, no fire. Everybody was just complacent. If they win or if they lose, we're just complacent. And you may want to throw stuff at them, but hang on just 1 second. They told me, Pastor, it don't make no difference if you win or lose. I said, if it didn't make no difference if we win or lose, why did they put that scoreboard? I can't speak for you, but I said, I'm coming to win, and if I can sit here in the stands, I'm going to give it everything I got. They're not going to lose because of me tonight. I want to tell you this morning, we've come to a place as a church, as it's called the house of God, a house of prayer. There ought to be something that identifies when you come into this house that people are excited and on fire about being here, serving the King of glory, the one that can step out of darkness and speak light into your situation.
Amen.
Woo.
Yes.
This is who he is. There was an atmosphere in this city. Let's get back to this story. There was an atmosphere. This atmosphere in this city here, there was extremely wealthy and very prosperous. It was a financial and a banking center. Not only was it that, but it also was a place where they manufactured clothing. It was also a place that they had a school there, a medical school, where they had come up with the invention to create eyesight. If you look from the outside and you begin to look at this city had it going on. The people that lived here, the people that was in this church now was connected to what was taking place around them. They were very prosperous people. They had people there that was in the financial business, and some of them were bankers, and some of them went into real estate, and they had people there that had started a business, had become manufacturers of clothing. There was doctors and lawyers and all that sitting in the congregation. But you have to be very careful. Because if you're not careful, even that itself presents a stumbling block. They thought that maybe like many other people, just because you're rich, just because you're increased with goods and have need or nothing, that somehow or another we connect this with our spiritual progress. Hang on. Don't let me lose you this morning. Touch your neighbor and say, he's about to get a little bit deep. Hang on here. Because all of a sudden now this mindset begins to go through that we like to connect what we own materially to where we're at spiritually. It's alive from the depths of hell. People will even make the comment they must be doing something right. They're very prosperous. I know atheists who are prosperous, but that does not make them spiritual. Hello, somebody. So you have to be very careful, because sometimes you find yourself in a place of complacency where you have been blessed with material things, and all of a sudden it tries to bleed over into your spiritual mindset, and you think to yourself, I must be doing something right or I wouldn't be where I'm at. Am I in the right house this morning? There is no connection to what there is no connection here to what they possessed materially to what they had spiritually. I'm not saying you cannot be rich and have wealth. I'm not saying that you cannot be a wealthy person, own money, and be spiritual. In the same sense, I'm not saying that you cannot be dirt road poor and not be spiritual. Amen. Is anybody living this morning? Amen. The lukewarmness is not a condition. It's a problem. Let me say it one more time. Lukewarmness is not a condition. It's a problem.
Yes.
In other words, it is not just the way you are. Whew, I felt that. Maybe that hit somewhere. Lukewarmness is not just the way that you are. It's the way that you've chosen to be. That's right. That's good. There's something that has caused this. There's something that has caused us to lose our fire. There's something that has caused us to lose our zeal. There's something that has caused us to lose our passion. And a lack of something. Something created these. Sometimes when we quit doing what we done, we find ourselves in this position. We quit seeking God. We quit moving in and pressing in. Lukewarmness creates also an illusion. Stay with me here, do not let me lose you. Are y'all still with me?
Yes.
Touch your neighbor just 1 minute, wake them up, all right? Time out just 1 second, we got a word break. Because I don't want you to miss this. I got one last point, don't you miss it. All right? I believe that God sent me here with this word. Are y'all with me now? Lukewarmness causes an illusion. Makes you think that you have something that you don't.
Right. Good. Yeah.
Ooh. Makes you think you have something that you don't. This is what the Lord said, I wish that you were cold or you were hot. He also makes the comment, he said, you say that you increase with goods and with wealth. He said, and you don't even know that you're wretched and blind. He has created an illusion. Because of the material and the financial blessings, they were now blinded by their spiritual needs. They didn't even realize where they were at spiritually. There's not but one way for God to waken or to quicken you. It's not, I'm just sharing the word this morning. And I will make this statement. If God cannot stir you up, there is absolutely no need for me to even attempt to. He addresses this generation in this church, and he says there's a problem, and the problem is everybody has come complacent. Nobody is excited no more about coming to the house of God. Nobody is excited anymore about worship. Nobody's excited anymore that we have come into this place on this day, at this time, at 9:30 this morning. We set aside that I can come with my brothers and my sisters and open my voice and begin to declare the goodness and greatness of God. I've come to tell you this word. We serve an awesome God, and he's worthy to be praised. I happen to blame a woo rag this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
You go, brother.
Why in the world do you get so excited? Because God, whatever you do, waking me up in the middle of the night, quickening my spirit, but don't ever let me get to a place where I'm just satisfied with status quo and singing great songs and going back home when we have come to worship the God Almighty, the Lord of creation, the Redeemer of our soul. Don't let me become complacent in this. Lord, if I do, somebody, elders and deacons get together. They try to quiet me down for you. Just calm down. Don't shout. If you calm down a little bit, you make a good preacher. If you settle down and wouldn't run and wouldn't shout it, I have found out when the days and times when I tried to make it just as easy and complacent as I could, and I felt like I had backslid from God, most people in the church liked it. Long as you don't get on fire, long as there's no excitement, my Lord, we're in the house of God, serving the King of glory. Please, somebody, get excited. He's called me to be on fire. Watch this.
Preach, man.
Watch this. I'm going to close with this.
Oh, don't stop now.
He said he's not.
Don't stop now. Wake us up.
He's knocking.
Yes.
There's something very interesting here. Don't you miss it. Something very unique. Something that's almost unconceivable happens here in this passage. He said all of a sudden there's a knock. You knock at a door to get access to come in.
Yeah.
Doors are created or designed for two purposes. They're either to keep something in or to keep something out.
That's right.
The doors of your house. Some of us, when you left this morning and you locked your door. It was to make sure that nothing on the outside hits on the inside. Is anybody with me?
Yeah. That's right. Amen.
Sometimes when we're expecting guests at our house, you leave the door unlocked and you tell them, say, when you get there, just come on in. Why? Because you want to give them access to come from the outside to get on the inside. There has been something now that has been put up, because now we find where the Lord is himself standing and he's knocking. We shared last week or the last couple of weeks ago that in the book of Genesis, when the door was shut to the ark, there were people on the outside knocking, crying, trying to get in.
Yeah.
In the book of Matthew chapter 25, we find the parable of the 10 bridesmaids. 5 of them got left behind, and we find them at the door knocking, trying to get access to get in. This is very interesting, because now we find where he has addressed the church, and the Lord is standing on the outside trying to get access.
Yeah.
Come on. Boy, that'll lose somebody.
Preach it, brother.
Trying to get in.
Yes.
Why? My first question is why was he on the outside?
Yeah, that's right. Good.
Something had denied him access. Hey, sorry, are y'all with me?
Yeah.
When you go, this happened to me one time. I went to somebody's house and I knew they were home. You know how I knew it? When I pulled up, I saw them run through the house. Now I want to tell you something. I'm passionate. One of the most uncomfortable things that I want is to show up at your house and know you're there and you not answer that door. What's this? That guy was there that day. It was so interesting that I had went to the side door where the laundry room was at, and the window didn't have nothing on it. And I'm knocking. I hear the TV running, and I see an image go behind that curtain. There's somebody here. And I just kept knocking. What's this though? There's one more step that you can take besides knock. See, I come when we're out in the country. And if you catch me, if I come to your neighborhood and I know that you're there, I'm basically to get you to come to that door. But because my next step, when I move beyond knocking, woo! Y'all know this well enough. I got a pitch to my voice that I can be in a crowd with a bunch of people and say, get so-and-so's attention. Woo! And I grab it. Move to another. It's a sense of urgency that I know you're here. You just ain't answering. What's this? Because Jesus just didn't stop with a knock. The next thing he said, he began to cry. Read the whole story. There was a voice that began to go out. Hey! Is anybody home? Woo! Woo! I know you're here. He kept a document. But he couldn't come in. Very interesting that he was on the outside now, trying to get to the inside. I want you to stand your feet this morning. I want to play this. You have a text message. I'm telling you, God is trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get you this. In the book of Psalms, there was a cry that went out from the psalmist. Will thou not revive us again? That thy people may rejoice. My prayer for you this morning, and that cry, is for the church of this generation to have a cry. It goes out, God, revive us.
Yes.
Revive us. Examine me, Lord. Examine me. My dad told me years ago, when we was playing church and just had going through religious activity, we come to church, we sit down, we sing the 3 songs, we get up, we go home. We go back on Sunday nights, we sit down, we sing the 3 songs, we get up, we go home. Wednesday nights we went back to church. We sit down, we sing the 3 songs, stand on one, sit on the other, and stand on the last. Y'all know the routine. And I remember one day as I'm sitting there in my living room, and my daddy looks over to me with an urgency, with tears running down his face, and he says, son, there's got to be more to it than this.
Yes, amen.
He would come home, Bill. We'd go to church and he would sit down and look at me. He said, son, it's got to be more to it than this.
Yes.
We was going through religious activity, straddling and riding the fence and then put a saddle on it. Made that our home. The whole time, her soul and spirit just crumbling away. I come to tell you there is more. God is wanting to have a personal relationship with you. When He becomes Lord of your life, nobody has to pump you up, prime you up. We don't have to have children in this house.
That's right.
Why? Because He is life. This is who He is, and this is what He brings to the table. He comes to bring you life that you can have it and have it to the fullest.
Yes, amen.
Bringing transformation unto you. His name is Jesus Christ. We've been washed in His blood, been redeemed from our sins. The cry go out this house this morning. I want some prayer warriors. Hallelujah. 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 Can you help me up here this morning and sit? Hallelujah. John, I want you to come up here. Hallelujah. Is Cheryl here today? Miss Robin, can you come up here? Miss Robin. Revive us again. Hold on, let me give you a message. Draw near to me, and I will draw nigh to you. Hallelujah. There's some Prayer warriors, just want to pray for you this morning. If you're here this morning, he says, what I do for this? The Lord's cry was repent. Repent. He's the God that's faithful and just to forgive you and to cleanse you from all unrighteousness. He stands with an urgency to forgive you. Hallelujah. If you're here this morning, you don't know Him as your Lord and Savior, there's an altar over here. You come and kneel down, and I'm going to meet you there. And I'm going to pray for you. If you're here this morning, you have found yourself that you, Lord, I'm going in that direction where I'm just lukewarm. And you're crying, Lord, I don't want to go here. Revive me again. Revive me, Lord. Come on, let's sing. Hallelujah.